It's been a day or two
Yeah.
since we watched the Manchester United versus Chelsea game.
hmm
But we still have some thoughts,
Yeah.
so we are here to share and
Yeah.
talk about the kind of outcome of the game. It was what, a 2-1
hmm
win
Yeah.
for the
2-1
team.
win. Yeah.
So at least love to see a win, but
Yeah,
let's kind of get into it. Millie, tell
for
me
sure.
your initial kind of thoughts on the game. You've had a couple days to mull over
More.
it.
Yeah. Sleep on it.
Yeah, sleep on it a little
Yeah.
bit. So let's hear kind of your initial thoughts on the game, any positive or yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
just
definitely. I mean, I think the first I guess 5 minutes of the game, United started off really well, started off the game very strong, applying a lot of pressure, which obviously subsequently led to Chelsea's red card early in the game,
right.
which was we sticking to the system, clip a long ball forward. Sesko did a great job getting under it, got the flick on, and with that, it led to what we know was a penalty because Membo got taken down by the keeper outside the 18.
Right.
And
That was
so
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy that early in the game.
Yeah.
Defenders tracking back, that was a crazy decision by
I
Sanchez,
mean,
but
yeah.
but
Wow.
yeah, if that was my goalkeeper, I would not have been very happy.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but yeah, so for the early parts of the game, United were doing a good job with the high press. Chelsea couldn't figure it out. Obviously, it was pouring down rain. Shouldn't be an excuse for anybody. But yeah, so the first few minutes of the game were looking pretty bright, and then obviously Chelsea, once they went down to 10 men, their coach made some pretty soft decisions and subbed off basically all of their attacking players.
Mm.
So did us a ton of favors. So thank God for that as well. But essentially that allowed United to kind of just dominate the game. Like United had most of possession, but yeah, I mean it was fine for the rest of the first half. Like there were a few chances, but not really clear cut chances. And again, when you're playing against 10 men, it's obviously a little bit more difficult because they tend to sit back more and really get into their shape. But
Right.
I guess my issue with when United went down to 10 men was the fact that there were so many moments where when Chelsea would win the ball back, they were still able to kind of play through, get out, get down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just obviously those moments will happen in games. It felt like it was just happening too much for having an advantage.
Yeah.
And then you kind of saw what happened with that in the second half. Obviously, Casemiro gets the most ridiculous red card probably in
I
history,
know.
the two softest yellow cards ever, which
Well,
again,
right, because he also won the ball in that one.
yeah, the second yellow, I just don't even understand where they're getting these referees
Yeah.
from. It's honestly baffling. And the Premier League and VAR, per normal, just don't take responsibility for the poor refereeing. They don't, reprimand the referees. There's no correction. There's
Mm-hmm.
no statement, acknowledging the mistake that the refs make, which really is sad to see because obviously now Casemiro has a multi-match ban. But
Which is crazy.
yeah, it's
They just
ridiculous.
wanted to make the game more even.
Yeah, I guess so. And to your point, in the second half, United had 28% possession at home.
Wow.
So when it was back to even men on the pitch, 10v10, United got completely dominated in the second
Wow.
half. Um,
Well, because I think it was one of your tweets or a tweet you retweeted or something like
mhm.
that that was talking about like, oh, I can see the vision, but it's only when we're up one man or something like
Yeah,
that.
when it was 11v10.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, Chelsea had no choice but to sit back in their shape. And so
Mm-hmm.
in those moments, you saw United, pinging the ball wide, actually serving the ball in, trying to do more of that. But again, then on United's side, at halftime when we went down to 10 men, United also did a similar thing that the Chelsea coach did. It's kind of made the cowardly decision, took off Sesko, took off I don't even know who he took off, but brought on Ugarte.
Right.
I guess that was a substitution, Sesko for Ugarte,
Mm-hmm.
which is just very defensive and not very we want to put this game to bed.
Right. Right.
Still completely baffled by the decision to not play Kobe Mainu, to not start Kobe Mainu
Because
after
he
he
didn't come
was
on at all.
He came on for the last like
Oh,
six
that's right.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then immediately created a
I
play
know.
for them to almost score, which is
Yeah, which is
crazy.
just like crazy. Like again, like it just it just showed like there's a few points I want to make to this. One, Ruben Amorim clearly doesn't have an interest in developing United's youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We used to see at the end of last season, we saw Cheeto Obi getting a few minutes. We saw like Hayden. We saw
Right.
like a few other like youth players kind of getting an opportunity, at least making the
Yeah.
roster. Now these guys are just gone. And now, again, we've seen what they've done to Rashford, who's absolutely thriving,
So
which is
good.
fantastic
He's
for
so
him. We'll
good at
have to, I
Barcelona.
know, yeah, he's thriving. So
For
again,
real.
just disproving this manager's theory about, his whole character assassination.
I
And so
know.
when we're seeing him do this again to Kobe Mainu, who's another Carrington product, another fantastic player who, as soon as he came on in the City game, changed the game for the last 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and made United a better team. So it's just, I don't know. It really says a lot about a manager who isn't even willing to give young players an opportunity. I mean, even Euro got dropped for,
Wow. Yeah.
which I've been saying Maguire should be starting, but I was saying he should be starting in place of Luke Shaw, not in
Right.
place of one of our best youth talents in
I
Euro. It's
know.
just like Euro's been playing fantastic, and
So
he
good.
gets punished for whatever. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. So we're seeing more and more youth players just drop to the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and we're wondering how what is the plan for the long term. Like Cunha, Membo, they're not exactly young guys.
I
Bruno is
know.
not
Well,
young
Cunha just got back from his
from his
hamstring
hamstring injury.
injury.
Yeah. And
So,
so and still, like, because of the way we play, like, it doesn't really allow for him to, be the creative, dynamic, and dangerous player we
mm-hmm.
know he is, because again, he's forced to, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But so it's very disappointing seeing, Kobe not getting minutes, Euro being, relished to the bench. I just can't really see what Ruben's path of developing any of our youth products are. And so yeah, I'm just not really seeing what the long-term vision is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now that Casemiro has picked up this red card. Now
Right.
Ruben Amorim has no excuse in the world not to play Kobe Manu. I'm sure he's going to try and start Mason Mount, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I guess it's just like the guy says that the best players are going to play, but then the best players aren't playing.
Yeah, like I just feel
I don't
like
know.
it reminds me of like when I played Little League, when it'd be like if they don't like your parents, they don't play you.
Right.
If he
And
is it political,
it's
Amarin?
it's
Like
actually
what?
crazy you say that, because a lot of speculation is that because Kobe Mainu is friends with Garnacho and friends with Rashford, that Ruben Amorim has a personal vendetta against him, similar to
It's
what
just so
it's childish.
ridiculous. It's
It's
so
just so it's
childish.
unprofessional. It's inhumane. It's
Honestly.
honestly, it's just so sad, and the fact that Sir Jim and the Inyo Sport have allowed this nonsense to go on is just a whole other story. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the second half of the game, we saw the reality of what happens when United are even 11v11 on the pitch. Chelsea essentially played us off the park. Thank God for Mathis de Ligt, because without de Ligt,
Mm.
the game probably would have been 4 or 5-2 to Chelsea.
Yeah.
De Ligt literally saved countless goals, throwing his body. I mean, it was fantastic defending from the guy. Maguire had important interventions. When Euro came on, he had important interventions. It's like, people are making it seem like this was like a very comfortable win, when that's just not the reality of the game that we watched. It
Mm-hmm.
was very sloppy. It was messy. It was not organized. The team was not well organized. Even when we were up a man, we did not look fantastic. We didn't look like we knew what the plot was. And
Yeah.
so it's just like, again, it is a win, and I know not every win is going to be like a beautiful, symphony of football. There are going to be games where you have to fight through difficult conditions and just work your way through it.
Right.
But again, I guess it's just like, at this point, I I just expect a little bit more.
I
We're
hear
just so
you.
deep into this process to still be struggling, still watching. Like, I don't know. So anyway, they won the game. That's really all I can
Yes.
say. That's what happens when you put Bruno higher up the field. Bruno scores goals. Bruno gets assists.
Mm-hmm.
Casemiro, obviously, great header, shouldn't have been sent off. Um, but yeah, I just think that in terms of the style and the way we play, it was a lot of more of the same from
Yeah.
United. But thankfully, Chelsea were just worse on the day.
Right.
And thankfully, like De Ligt literally sacrificed himself to make sure that we didn't get scored on again. But yeah, overall, it's great. It's a great 3 points. Chelsea are a difficult team. They'll be a tough team, but yeah, I think overall, I don't think it was necessarily like anything to be, you know, overly celebratory about. We
Yeah.
still need to look at this as just 3 points over the course of a very long season. And at some point, we have the expectation that we're gonna see a system, see a
Mm-hmm.
style of play that's recognizable, and actually like dominate a game in meaningful ways.
Yeah,
You know,
100%. That
so,
is exactly what we would like to see
yeah,
from the team, from the manager,
yeah.
you know.
But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, a win's a win, so we'll take it. It's 3 points. It was at home in the rain, so we'll just wait and see what happens next weekend. So yeah,
Yeah.
overall, okay game. Hopefully, again, another week to prepare before the next match. We should, see clear improvements.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so
See
so yeah,
some build off of the goals that we had
yeah.
in the game.
And then also just like the last thing I'll say is that like Ahmad getting ridiculed for posting a picture with, his friend
So
Garnacho after the game.
ridiculous.
It's just absurd. Like people like it's very I mean it's obviously very clear. Obviously not all the fans could have played the sport or like
Right.
understand the sport or anything like that, but like when you've played with people for years, when you're friends with people, when you're teammates, when you're in the locker room every day, in Ahmad and Garnacho's case, have been playing together for the better part of like 3 years, three,
Mm.
4 years, won trophies together.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have got to relax. It's just crazy to me that, like, right now we have a manager who has the worst win percentage of any Manchester United manager since the World War. So
Scary.
when we talk about like the quote unquote standards that the club has, they actually don't have standards for the manager right now. This manager is getting a free pass to do whatever the hell he wants.
Literally.
So when you're trying to have players uphold an unrealistic standard of they can't be friends with rivals, they can't hang out with rivals, they can't go and have a personal life, they can't go to other sporting events, they can't wear a chain around their neck, they can't have too many fancy cars. You're setting all of these expectations on these players who are also just human beings, which is ridiculous. And then you've got a manager who's brought the club to almost relegation levels and should be having to prove himself to us, the fans, every
Mm-hmm.
single week, week in, week out. And yet they're singing his name freely in the crowds,
All the time.
chanting the
God.
crowd. It's insane to me. Like, how are there not songs for Ahmad? How are there not songs for Bruno? Like, there
Literally.
needs to be more support of the actual players who are playing for the club than the manager. It's not about a player FC or a manager FC. That's not what the point. The point is that no player and no manager are bigger than the club.
Right.
Manchester United is what we all are supposed to be supporting. If the manager is not upholding the club's values, morals, and expectations, you sack him. And same with players. If players are not upholding the values, the morals, the ethics, and what the expectation of playing for Manchester United, they move on. That's how that works. But if one is not upholding the standard of the club, you can't turn around and expect the players to be upholding an unrealistic thing.
It's
It's just it's
crazy.
not
It's
real.
actually
It's just
crazy.
not real. So I think the buck stops with the manager. Like, you want to think about, we've not seen any manager have fallouts with this many players at all at any club at this level.
Right.
It's
So
it's on
who's the
it's
common
unheard
denominator?
of. Yeah. So the common denominator
Is obviously Emery.
has to be. It's just there's just too many players. So anyway, you've got a mod now. Like, essentially, he deleted like all of his stuff. Anyway,
No.
Yeah, it's tough. Mental health plays a big part in performance. He's
Yeah.
not feeling supported by the fans, by anything, but these same fans are going to go and sing Amarim's name, who isn't going to be on the field playing, who isn't going to be in those positions when, Ahmad might now second guess himself. Anyway,
They need
I
to
just want
do
to
better.
say the fans have to do
Fans,
better,
yeah.
protect the players. They're the ones who are going out on the pitch.
They're the
And
ones who you should be having undying support for because they're the ones actually putting their bodies on the line and putting that's their whole life is
yeah,
playing for Manchester United.
yeah,
Like that
yeah,
is what they resemble.
yeah,
And to
100%.
your point, people might not understand or think about the fact that players are shuffled around teams all of the time.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that they're not still friends with their previous teammates.
I
That's
know.
crazy. What, you
Yeah.
think they just cut all
If when
ties?
you leave a job, did you just put a
Burn
middle?
all of your
All yeah,
bridges?
you
Like,
you told all of your ex coworkers you never want to see or hear from any of
right?
them again to leave you alone. When you went from high school to college, you told all your it's just like people in real
So
life don't function
ridiculous.
like that, but they
No.
expect the players. Do none of you go on vacations with your families? Do none of you? I mean, people who are at the Man United games, that's the same thing they're getting mad at the players for doing, going to another sporting event. Think about that. It's just baffling. Getting mad at other humans for doing the same stuff you're
I
doing and
know.
holding them to a different standard.
Right. Like, how would you feel if we were mad that you left your 9 to 5 job
Wow.
and went
Unbelievable.
and did something that another human would do?
I know.
It's crazy.
Went in your car. How
Wow.
dare you own a
How
car?
could you?
I mean, it's just crazy. Like yes, they're making millions of like whatever you want to say. Yes, they're
Yeah,
making money, but at the end of the day, that's none of your business. No one's in your
honestly.
bank account looking at how much money you're making, seeing what you're spending on stuff. Like the players are just humans trying to do their job. And yes, you could say the same thing about the manager, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of talent in the youth. There's a lot of talent even with the players that have been forced out of the club in Marcus Rashford, for just one example.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say this team should not be a bottom half of the Premier League team
Definitely
at any
not.
point. So point blank period.
Period.
If this trend continues, a change has to be made.
Of
But
course.
again, they won the game, so
Yes.
we'll
Have to be
be
happy
happy
about
about the
that.
win. It's 3 points. What can we
What?
say?
Yeah.
Could it have been better? Absolutely. But 3 points nonetheless.
Yes.
So
So we do love that at the very least.
yeah.
So if you made it this far,
Thanks
for
for watching.
watching. Thanks for listening to our thoughts on the Manchester United versus Chelsea game. And we will see you next time for the next game.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.
Peace.